Good morning and welcome. This has been a week like no other. And here we are, 4 days after white supremacist violence, anti-democracy violence, and 2 historic electoral victories in our own state. We gather together to try and make sense of it all, to try and discern what may come next, what to prepare for. I want you to know your fear is welcome and holy and true. Your helplessness is welcome here. Your joy, too, is welcome here. Your anger is welcome. Your sadness and your pain are welcome here today. All feelings are welcome in this hour with this people. May this be a time of spiritual sustenance, a time to return to solid and holy ground, to find our center, a time to grieve, a time to draw strength from one another and from our source of life. Let us worship together.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. Throughout this week, thinking about what to do with all of this anger and this fear, this was the hymn that came to mind. It's called, I Know This Rose Will Open. Idea that I know this rose will open, that my heart will open, that this fear that I'm harboring will eventually burn away, and my soul will unfurl its wings. We're going to sing it in a taizé style, which just means it repeats over and over. We'll do it in a round through this pedal down here. For you, you can sing one line over and over and over. You can sing part of the round over and over. You can make up your own part. Just join in as you sing. See what how the words make you feel. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will I know this rose will I know my fear will I know my fear will I know my soul will I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will I know this rose I know this rose I know this rose I know my fear will I know my fear will I know my soul I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose I know this rose I know this rose I know this rose I know my fear I know my fear I know my soul I know my soul I know this rose I know this rose I know this rose I know this rose I know my fear I know thank you for being here with us this morning, sharing all of who you are, being all of who you are together.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Terrence Strauss, and I am honored to welcome you into worship this morning along with Don Milton III, our music director. I miss you. We miss you. If there were ever a Sunday to gather together and just see each other's faces, share hugs, be in each other's presence, it's this morning. And yet, we will continue to gather in this way until it is safe, doing our best to create something holy and beautiful and true to the moment we are living through. I want to begin with a few announcements. The UUCA Board of Trustees invites you to join them next Sunday, January 17th at 1:00 p.m., shortly after the service, for an exciting visioning session as we co-create our new congregational mission and vision statements. Next Sunday, come and share your experience of the holy. Hear from others and discern what values are embedded in those experiences that are core to this congregation. We hope you can make it next Sunday at 1:00, but if not, the Board of Trustees will offer 2 more sessions. We will have a lot more information about all of this in this coming Friday's weekly update, so keep an eye out for that. The Adult Religious Education Series, So You Want to Talk About Race, continues this Tuesday, January 12th at 7:30 p.m. with the first session of a 2-part series, Exploring Privilege and Power. We will discuss foundations of systemic racism, stereotypes, and prejudices transformed into outright discrimination and oppression by the systems of law and law enforcement. As with all sessions in this series, the recording will be shown the following Sunday at 5:00 p.m. To register for any and all sessions in this series, So You Want to Talk About Race, please follow the link that is going into the live chat right now. And speaking of our live chat, I want to welcome you into this live chat. Now, we do know that we as Unitarian Universalists have a lot of diverse opinions and beliefs. It is a strength of our faith and our community. However, the live chat during worship is not the place to voice those opinions, as that can take away from the flow of the service. We do invite you to use the live chat for 3 main purposes: to welcome each other and care for one another, to affirm and celebrate your worship leaders and your fabulous audiovisual team, and, of course, to spread good vibes that we so dearly need today. So now I would love to invite you. Also know that if you are struggling with some of the content in the service, you can call upon Barbara Begner, our lead lay minister, who is standing by in the live chat and will follow up with a phone call with you so as not to distract from the rest of the service for others. And now, I do want to invite you into that gentle care and welcome. Please take a moment to welcome each other in the live chat, or to welcome someone who may be visiting this morning into our live chat. And now I hope you have a chalice or a candle with you at home so you can join me in lighting our holy chalice this morning as we say our sacred chalice lighting words together. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace.
This is a very powerful song by Nina Simone called Come Ye.
It's time to learn how to pray. Come ye who have no fear of what tomorrow brings, child. It's time to start working for a better world of peace and all good things. Come ye who still have hope that we can survive now. Let's work together like we should, and fight to stay alive. Come ye who would have love. It's time to take a stand now. Don't mind the debts that must be paid for the love of your fellow humans. said, come ye, come ye, who would have hope, who would have peace, who would have love, who would have peace. I said, come ye, come ye.
The Breaking News. Written and illustrated by Sarah Lynn Rule. Read by Laura Beth Brown. I remember when we heard the bad news. Suddenly, Mom is glued to the television, and Dad can't stop checking his phone. They whisper, and I pretend not to hear. It is more than a little scary. Mom forgets to tuck me in, and Dad is too tired for bedtime stories. It seems like everyone else feels it too. At school, my teacher says to look for the helpers. Even when the news is bad, you can still find good people trying to make things better in big and small ways. I want to help in a big way. I decide to put on the funniest show ever to make everyone laugh again. But the grown-ups don't feel like laughing. I tell them about the force fields I'll invent to keep us all safe, but their smiles are tiny and sad. I try to be on my best behavior all the time, to be so good. But they hardly even notice. I think maybe there is nothing I can do to help in a big way. I feel small. So maybe I can try to do just one small thing, and maybe another, and another, and one more. Small things don't solve everything. The bad news is still there, after all. But then again, so are we.
So as we continue to drop in and ground and center ourselves, won't you please rise in body or in spirit and join the Sweeney Black family in this morning's movement prayer.
First, we bow to honor the spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of spirit. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present.
Amen. Blessed be.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we'll walk hand in hand someday.
Let us put hands on our hearts and feel the warm connection. Let love in this moment flow. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love will heal the world. At this time, we hear the joys and sorrows of this congregation. Please continue to keep Izzy and Jerry Moskowitz in your thoughts, in your hearts. Jerry is continuing to deal with some difficult issues related to his cancer and has recently been hospitalized. Cards and emails of support are welcome. Please hold Lynn and Sandy Payne with love in your hearts. 13 days after the loss of their mother, their stepfather, Donald Lodge, passed away. Donald and Lynn and Sandy's mother, Darlene, were married for 48 years and had a beautiful, loving relationship. They will both be greatly missed. The family is planning a memorial service in the spring. Cards and emails of support are welcome. Let us hold Joe Faddis in our hearts. Joe is in the hospital now, recovering from COVID and back injuries. She is awaiting being moved to a rehab facility where she can regain her strength before going home. Cards are welcome. We send love to Deb Dangerfield, one of Michael Dangerfield's sisters in Wisconsin, who fractured her elbow this week and had surgery to put it all back together Friday afternoon. She's home recovering now, but faces 6 weeks of recovery time. And Michael hopes she is comfortably watching our service this morning. We send love to you, Deb. And we hold in our hearts all people who are struggling with fear, with pain, our lawmakers who fled in fear, all those who suffered from the insurrection at our Capitol this week, and all who are continuing to struggle in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, who are struggling with loneliness, grief, loss, and illness all across our world. May all beings find connection. We say, may all people find comfort. May all of us find more ways to be more loving. As humans have gathered for millennia, so we gather on this day in our way, to gently surrender to something beyond ourselves, to humbly acknowledge our mistakes, to ask forgiveness, to seek hope and renewal, to honor the earth that supports and sustains life, to remember that all beings are inextricably and mysteriously connected, and to feel that connection. So now we still our bodies, we still our minds, we take in a big breath, and we exhale. We relax into this moment that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the wise silence.
shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall all be free someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall live in peace someday.
I want to talk with you about our Unitarian Universalist religious symbol, the flaming chalice. Some of you may know the flaming chalice symbol dates back to the late 1930s. The chalice and flame was a two-dimensional image stamped onto documents created by the Unitarian Service Committee in Europe to help Jewish refugees and other religious refugees escape Nazi persecution on the eve of World War II. The design had been hastily put together by the artist Hans Deutsch, himself a refugee. Deutsch was working at the direction of the USC's director, Reverend Charles Joy, a Unitarian minister who believed that such a logo would make their paperwork look more official. Reverend Joy would later claim that the design was reminiscent of the lamps of holy oil used by ancient Greeks, Jews, and Romans, and that the flame itself represented a spirit of helpfulness and sacrifice. Eventually, the chalice design formed the basis for the American Unitarian Association's official logo. After Universalism and Unitarianism merged in 1961, the symbol acquired two overlapping circles to represent each of the two traditions, the Unitarian and the Universalist. You can see that represented here on our chalice. The symbol featured a large open circle with a very small off-centered kind of a cross inside. This signified how Universalism had grown out of the Christian tradition, but was still held open to a world of other possibilities and unanswered questions. Now, we aren't totally sure how the chalice as a two-dimensional artistic rendering transformed itself into the three-dimensional object used to center and ground our worship. All evidence, though, suggests the path leads through our children's religious education programs. Curricula used in the late 1970s stressed the meaning of the chalice and encouraged children to make chalices with clay or other materials. Eventually, those chalices morphed into objects that could be lit, could be brought home, or even placed centrally on the altar for worship. The first documented uses of chalices in the main sanctuary are from Sundays on which the children and youth led worship and demonstrated their practice in religious education to the wider adults in the congregation. So the children's church craft captured the imagination of an entire denomination. To me, now, the flame shines the light of spirit, of source that enlivens us all. And the chalice, the cup, the bowl represents the community that contains and holds that spirit. And like any flame, this one requires oil to stay lit. Each of us require a spark to ignite our resolve, our passion for love that is just. At times such as the week we have endured, we may find our wick quite low, just a flame dimly lit. But when the community holds us and pours into us the energy we need to stay sparked, we can persevere. Keep a light in your window this season, so anyone who passes by knows your home is a sanctuary of safety for those who are persecuted, that you are a Unitarian Universalist whose very faith keeps us all moving towards a more just and a more peaceful world community. To keep the oil in stock, to keep our lights aflame, we rely on the gifts and resources of this worshiping community. And it is a blessing to have an opportunity to be generous, to give to a community that practices love and justice so beautifully with such persistence. And now is your moment, your opportunity for that blessing. To be generous, to give to that spark that keeps us all going. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
So on Thursday, as all happening in the world was happening, our worship team decided to change the service and do something entirely different. And it was Reverend Strauss who actually asked for what would America the Beautiful be like in this service. And it is the second time I've played this year, or in the last 6 months. Reverend Duncan Teague was here for our July 4th service. We were talking about trying to decouple patriotism and nationalism. And this song worked in that space too. This is America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains and their majesty, above the fruited plains, America, America. God shed their grace on thee and crown thy good with siblinghood. From sea to shining sea, I was born by a river in a little tent, just like that river. I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know the change is gonna come. Oh, yes it will. America, America, God shed their grace on thee, and crown thy good with siblinghood. From sea to shining sea, from sea to shining sea.
All right, Don. America the Beautiful. Yes, thank you. Thank you for all the beautiful music this morning. I'm finding a lot of healing in it, so thank you. And it's making me forget to say things like, don't forget to go to uuca.org/give, which is the place where you can go to make your contribution this morning and keep our flame going strong so we all can get through this, can survive and thrive in this time together. Won't you please join me now in the dedication of the offering to the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community. We dedicate our lives, and these are offerings. Blessings on this gift. May it go far and wide to spread more love, more justice, and more peace across our community and our land.
Let America be America again. Langston Hughes. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. But America never was America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be the great strong land of love, where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, that any man crushed by one above. But it never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. But there's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro, bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant, clutching the hope I seek, and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man, full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker, sold to the machine. I am the Negro, servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean. Hungry yet today despite the dream, beaten yet today, oh, pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream. In the old world, while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings. In every brick and stone, in every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore, and Poland's plain, and England's grassy lea, and torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a homeland of the free. The free. Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay. For all the dreams we've dreamed and all the songs we've sung and all the hopes we've held and all the flags we've hung. The millions who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be. The land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain from those who live like leeches on the people's lives. We must take back our land again. America. Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath. America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangsters' death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and the endless plain, all the stretch of those great green states, and make America again.
Thank you to Dr. Tony Stringer for reading Langston Hughes' poem for our reading, and thank you to the fabulous Dangerfields for putting the video together for us this morning. America, we are a body with a founding wound. This wound is not all that we are. When I say body, I mean a collective with a dream of work that is meaningful, enough food and shelter and welcome for all, and more than enough even. But this collective, this body has suffered long with a wound. It is a wound from birth. And we seek a healer for our wound. Oh God, we seek an expert from above. And our helplessness as the wound spreads, as the bandages are uncovered and all is fully revealed, we want explanations. You know, until this year, I haven't given very much thought to Epiphany. January 6th, the day Christians commemorate the first manifestation of Jesus Christ to the Gentiles. From the Greek epiphania, meaning manifestation, or according to Merriam-Webster, a sudden manifestation of the essential nature of something. Epiphany, a sudden manifestation of the essential nature of something. I'd like to read just a little bit of the book of Matthew to you. That's this week's reading for Christians across the world, Matthew 2. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened. Then Herod secretly called for the wise men, and he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for this child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. So let us consider the wisdom of the Magi, these wise men who were most likely not 3 but legion, and most likely not only men either. What made them wise? Well, they were wise to follow a star, a prophecy of new leadership. They were wise to become overwhelmed with joy at this possibility of freedom and peace for all. They were wise to kneel down and greet a vulnerable baby born into poverty and give him gifts typically reserved for kings. Especially, they were wise to follow their dream to fulfillment, to subvert the order of the king and let the baby and thus their dream survive. This was their epiphany. An epiphany is a manifestation of an intuition, an idea that takes hold and fulfills itself after great spiritual preparation. And on this January 6th Epiphany, we saw one manifestation of our founding wound. A birthing wound that erupted as the body of this nation was formed. The wound of despoliation of the land, of domination, colonialism, subjugation, stolen land, slavery, a wound as old as the body itself. On this Epiphany, we saw the manifestation of a fascist demagogue who has spent his entire presidential term harnessing the dream of white rage in order to terrorize our elected leaders and attempt a coup. In the coming days, we will need to repeat the fact of this manifestation for those who might seek to downplay the events of Wednesday or spin them into something cuter or more benign, or attempt to distance those events from the sitting president. With all the wisdom of the Magi, we will need to begin to use the proper terms of things, to know that words manifest the reality of our body, our collective, which is still wounded. So allow me to use the proper terms. Our president is a fascist, and his enablers and supporters are supporters of fascism. He must be removed from office as soon as possible and barred from ever running again. And his supporters in the Senate and in the House must at the very least be censured, but hopefully they must be removed for suggesting this election was mishandled. There is no healing a wound without accountability. That is the only path towards healing. Anything less, and the wound will continue to deepen and spread. 5 people perished on Wednesday. Our Capitol was desecrated. Our congressional and Senate representatives were traumatized. And honestly, the white supremacists succeeded in slowing down the wheels of the democratic process. They succeeded in troubling the wound. As eyewitnesses and journalists continued to share their stories of the insurrection throughout the week, what's becoming clear is the facts of the day were worse than we had initially understood. Wounded people wound people. We watched in horror as the Capitol Police Force were overpowered or appeared to stand back and allow white insurrectionists to storm into our Capitol. And after this summer of Black Lives Matter protests, we saw firsthand the racist hypocrisy of knowing in our bones how Black people are treated by the police, knowing that if the crowd had been protesting this brutality or even a woman's right to choose, few would have made it out alive. But the body of America survived its woundedness to live another day. If the Magi wanted to follow a light on this epiphany, they would have needed to travel farther south. I'll tell you where they could find that star in the sky, that light. You could find it right here in Georgia, baby. We here in Georgia worked hard to get out the vote, to get people registered to vote. You, UUCA member, you, Unitarian Universalist, you lived your fifth principle in action. Our fifth principle of our faith, which honors the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. You lived your values out loud as you phone banked and wrote postcards and served as poll workers and poll watchers and election defenders. Some of you took your light to the streets to canvass, and on the day of the runoff election, we UUs were known out there in Gwinnett County. You shined out there in Cobb County. Who were those Unitarian Universalists, they asked, in DeKalb and Fulton counties? I personally saw some of you out there on election day, and I was prouder than ever maybe, to be a Unitarian Universalist with you. I was proud to be known by your works and for you to be known by mine. We will not let white supremacist insurrectionists steal our celebration after all of these weeks and months of hard work. We worked for this moment under the leadership of strategists, many of them Black Southern women who sought to take their power back from those who would suppress votes in Georgia and gerrymander and question identities and add barrier after barrier. We all persisted together. So let us reclaim our celebration for this effort. Let us revel in the joy that is owed to us after so much hard work. And the images you saw on the screen earlier, just a fraction of the images from this election season and all the Unitarian Universalists and UUCA members who worked to bring voting justice to our nation and to Georgia. Let us remember that this week also held this epiphany, this manifestation of an intuition that we, the people, could make Georgia anew. This week, I was also reminded of the words of Reverend Theodore Parker, the 19th century Unitarian minister and abolitionist, who wrote, "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. And from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice. These words were later paraphrased and made famous by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And my friend Reverend Laura Bogle points out that for Unitarian Universalists, this may be the hardest aspect of our faith to sustain. But what a deep faith it takes in the middle of these hard and scary times to continue to believe that out of evil and chaos, righteousness and justice can yet emerge. If we, as Unitarian Universalists, have crises of faith, this may be the most common one. Not a crisis that questions whether there is or is not a God, but a crisis of faith that wonders whether anything we do makes a difference, whether things actually get better or not. We do not always see the events taking place as evidence that the arc is bending towards justice, not with our own sight. And it certainly won't take shape without our own hands working to make it so. It is not inevitable. The way forward is often mysterious and shadowed by the heartbreak and hatred of the past. In the same day that our very democracy came under attack by violent white supremacist forces, the people of Georgia elected our very first African American senator and our first Jewish senator. These events are not unconnected. Both were epiphanies of a kind. As people of faith, we affirm the democratic process. We uphold a vision of a multiracial, pluralistic, equitable society. We must continue to hold the hope that anything is possible when we stay rooted in love that holds us and transforms us. We are the healers of our founding wound. The poet Ross Gay says that in almost every instance of our lives, we are, if we pay attention, in the midst of an almost constant, if subtle, caretaking, holding open doors, offering elbows at crosswalks, letting someone else go first, helping with the heavy bags, reaching what's too high or what's been dropped, pulling someone back to their feet. This caretaking is our default mode, and it is always a lie that convinces us to act or believe otherwise, always. Reverend Robin Bartlett reminds us never to let the rulers of nations tell you that your default mode is war or division or separation or alienation. That is the lie of those who try to traumatize you into submission. You may feel small, scared, numb, angry, and powerless, but you are beloved. You are a child of the universe. Your default mode is caretaking. Loved people love people. So go out and love some more people. And know that you are loved. That is our task this week. I'd like to close, and that is how America will be. I would like to close with the words of the poet Adrienne Marie Brown, who wrote this week, "We are our only relevant hope. We are our only possible medicine. A body is always a body, wounded, festering, healing, healed. We choose each day what body we will shape with the miraculous material we're gifted. Let us finally attend to the wound. Let us finally name the violence. Let us finally break the cycle of supremacy. Let us finally choose ourselves whole. Let us finally love ourselves whole. May it be so. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Strauss. I don't know about you, but I needed this service this morning. I feel a little better. We're on a path. Last week, we sang the hymn, We're Gonna Sit at the Welcome Table, and we agreed after the service that should be something we sing for a little while. So we're going to use different verses, new verses to that for the next few weeks, including this one. We're gonna create a welcome table. We're gonna create a welcome table one of these days. Hallelujah. We're gonna create a welcome table. We're gonna create a welcome table one of these days. Though days be dark with storms and burdens weigh my heart, though troubles wait at every turn, oh, I know that I can go on. And when sorrow heals my soul and burdens make me strong, no trouble waits at every turn, oh, I know that I can go on. And though this journey is long, the destination is near. Though troubles wait at every turn, well, I know that I can go on. So cousins, take my hand, and siblings, sing my song. When hope awaits at every turn, oh, I know we will, I know we will, yes, I know that we will go on.
Yes. I hope some of you saw the story of New Jersey Representative Andy Kim, who, after they were released from the secure places where they have been placed during the attack, the Congress came out and he began to kneel down and clean up the floor of the Capitol, just clean up the trash that had been left. In his helplessness, he just wanted to do something that felt helpful with his hands. This reminder that caretaking is our default mode always, as humans, as a beloved child of the universe, your default mode is caretaking. So it is time to care for something and someone, not just yourself, but yes, also yourself. And not just what is yours, also what is yours, but take care of something beyond yourself, something beyond your own sight. And in that way, we will care for each other. We will move forward together into the next moment, hopefully a little closer towards something healing, towards that dream we all share of an America where all are loved and all have peace and all have justice. Go in peace, go in love, and go love others and each other. Amen. Blessed be.